There's a certain kind of American who loves a good travel documentary. They sit on their beige couches watching someone else sweat through a jungle or eat something questionable from a street cart. They crave the authentic, the unspoiled, the real. Vietnam for them is a jackpot. War history? Check. Mysterious ancient culture? Double check. Food that'll make you question every life choice? Absolutely. They want the cinematic Vietnam, all from a safe, sanitized distance. But here's the thing. Vietnam isn't a documentary, it's a living, breathing, chaotic, and utterly beautiful mess. The past isn't even past, it's riding pillion on a grab scooter, weaving through traffic. You come here looking for a story to take home, but what you find is far more complicated. You think you're here to look at Vietnam, but Vietnam is also looking right back at you, probably wondering why you're wearing hiking boots in downtown Hanoi. The real journey starts when you peel back the first layer, past the tourist traps and cheap beer. You start to see the ghosts, not the spooky kind, but the ghosts of history, war, and ancestors who still demand a seat at the dinner table. This country is saturated with memory. Every street corner has a story. Every bowl of pho is a connection to generations past. So you pack your bags, get your shots, and tell everyone you're going on an adventure to find yourself. You land in a wall of heat and noise and smells that are both intoxicating and vaguely alarming. You're an alien stumbling through a world that operates on a logic entirely its own. You're here for the food, the culture, the history. You're here to understand. But the first thing you have to learn is that you will probably understand nothing at all. And that right there is the perfect place to start. Welcome to Vietnam. Try not to get run over. Forget what you know about temples. A Vietnamese ghost temple, or den tho, is a place of noise, smoke, and vibrant energy. These aren't relics, they're essential parts of daily life. People pop in on their way to work during lunch or after a bad day to talk to the dead. A ghost temple is a house for spirits, revered figures, legendary heroes, or unmourned souls. The belief is simple, spirits still have needs. They get hungry, bored, even angry if ignored. So people bring offerings, entire feasts, beer, cigarettes, anything a living person might enjoy. The air is thick with incense, prayers rising in smoke. Altars are a riot of color, piled high with offerings and intricate carvings. It's not spooky, it's like a perpetual family reunion where half the guests are invisible. You see families burning stacks of fake money, paper cars, even paper iPhones, ensuring their relatives are living it up in the afterlife. You might see someone quietly whispering to an altar, updating a deceased parent on family gossip. It's intimate and public all at once. In Vietnam, the veil between worlds is incredibly thin. Sometimes all that separates you from a ghost is a wisp of incense smoke. You can't talk about ghosts in Vietnam without talking about the war, the American War, as it's called here. For Americans, it's history. For the Vietnamese, it was home. The war created a generation of ghosts, millions who died far from home without proper rites. Ghost temples are for them, a place to process grief, remember the ordinary and the heroic. Offerings aren't just for ancient deities, they're for the uncle who never came back, the neighbor lost in a bombing raid. It's a way of saying we have not forgotten you. The irony, the American tourist wandering these sacred spaces camera in hand. Yet the Vietnamese are gracious. They might even invite you to light incense. The echoes are always there, in the old man with a missing limb, in bomb craters now filled with lotus flowers, in family stories with missing names. The war isn't a relic here, it's a ghost that walks alongside the living, a quiet presence in the chaos of modern Vietnam. It's part of the landscape as much as the rivers and mountains. Here, the past and present ride together, sometimes on the same motorbike. You can't escape the ghosts, but you can learn to ride with them. That's Vietnam. Let's be honest, many of us travel for our stomachs, and in Vietnam, your stomach will thank you. The best food is often found right outside the places where people commune with the dead. After you've paid your respects, it's time to appease the living yourself. The streets around temples are a gauntlet of culinary temptation. The offerings for spirits, boiled chicken, sticky rice, platters of fruit, are a preview of what's to come. While you can't eat the offerings, their earthly counterparts are just steps away. A woman grills marinated pork, the smell mingling with incense. This is the soul of Vietnamese cuisine. Not in fancy restaurants, but on a tiny plastic stool on a crowded sidewalk. Every bite is a lesson in balance, hot and cold, sweet and sour, fresh and fermented. Eating here is a ritual. You watch, you learn, you slurp your noodles loudly. For a few blissful moments, you're not a tourist, you're just another hungry soul finding joy in a bowl of noodles. In Vietnam, food is a bridge between worlds, and sometimes, the best way to honor the past is to savor the present. Vietnam is a country of whiplash-inducing contrasts. The ancient and the hyper-modern don't just coexist, they're smashed together in the most bewildering ways. You might see a monk in saffron robes scrolling through Facebook on a new iPhone, while a water buffalo blocks traffic outside. This is daily life. A leap into the 21st century without letting go of the past. One minute you're in a centuries-old alley, the next you're staring up at a glass skyscraper. Young people sip lattes in trendy cafes just down the street from an old woman selling herbal remedies. Ghost temples are squeezed between karaoke bars and mobile phone shops. The roar of traffic and pop music is the soundtrack to solemn rituals. People make offerings, then use a QR code to donate to the temple. It's not a contradiction, it's just life. In Vietnam, tradition and modernity aren't opposites, they're partners in an ongoing dance. Here, you can honor your ancestors and obsess over the latest K-pop band. Culture isn't static, it's a conversation always evolving. No matter how much you prepare, you will get things wrong in Vietnam. Embrace the awkwardness, it's where the best stories come from. Maybe you try to bargain for a pineapple and offer 10 times the price. Or you walk into a temple, forgetting to take off your shoes, earning the silent glare of a dozen grandmothers. My favorite, the accidental spirit offense. You point your feet at an altar, insult a ghost, and back away, mortified. Then there's the food. You pride yourself on being adventurous, so you accept a shot of rice wine with a snake in it. You toss it back, your throat on fire while the locals laugh and slap you on the back. You've passed some unspoken test, at least until you regret it the next day. These moments of failure are humbling. They remind you you're a guest here, not the hero, but they're also moments of connection. When you mess up and laugh at yourself, people open up. They see you're trying, even if you're a disaster. In that shared awkwardness, you learn more about Vietnam and yourself than any guidebook could teach. So go ahead, make a fool of yourself. It's good for the soul. And in Vietnam, humility is the best souvenir. The real adventure is in getting it wrong. That's how you find your place in the chaos. History in Vietnam isn't just something you read about, it's something you walk through, eat and breathe. Every dynasty, every colonial power, every war has left its mark. The Chinese were here for 1,000 years, leaving behind architecture, philosophy, and a legacy of resistance. The Vietnamese have a long history of kicking out invaders, it's kind of their thing. Then came the French bringing baguettes, coffee, and grand buildings, plus a system of exploitation that led to rebellion. The Vietnamese, unsurprisingly, aren't fans of being colonized. Enter the Americans, determined to save Vietnam from communism, but failing to see it as a country with its own history. The American War was just the latest chapter in Vietnam's long struggle for self-determination. After the war, Vietnam was unified but devastated, isolated and scarred. Then came Doi Moi, economic reforms that opened Vietnam to the world. In a short time, the country transformed. Battlefields became tourist sites and resilience became the national trademark. To understand Vietnam today, you have to understand this history, not just the American part, but all of it. It's a long, proud, painful, and ultimately triumphant story. Vietnam is a nation that refused to be broken, and that spirit is everywhere you look. You come to Vietnam looking for ghosts, and you find them, in temples, museums, and stories. But soon, you realize you brought your own ghosts. As an American, you can't travel here without confronting the ghosts of your own history. The War Remnants Museum is a brutal experience. Photos of massacres, Agent Orange victims, tiger cages. It's gut-wrenching and you can't look away. The Vietnamese don't seem angry. They're curious, sometimes even sympathetic. They've lived with these ghosts for decades, found a way to remember without being consumed by hatred. They move on, not by forgetting, but by weaving the past into the present. It's a powerful lesson in grace. You travel through this country, haunted by two sets of ghosts, theirs and your own. You see resilience, optimism, and life force everywhere. History isn't simple, it's messy, painful, and deeply human. The only way to deal with ghosts is to acknowledge them, listen, and keep moving forward. You leave a little of your own baggage behind and take a piece of Vietnam's strength with you. What do you take away from Vietnam? Your bag is full of souvenirs, your phone full of photos, your head a jumble of images and sounds. You came looking for something authentic and found something much more real, a country that is messy, contradictory and vibrantly alive. In Vietnam, the past is a house guest. It sits with you every day. The Vietnamese have mastered the art of honoring their ghosts without letting them stop the business of living. They look forward and backward at the same time, welcoming former enemies and embracing the future. The past informs the present, but doesn't dictate the future. You leave with a profound respect for resilience, forgiveness, and the ability to laugh and innovate through pain. The search for the authentic is a fool's errand. The authenticity is in the chaos. You came to see Vietnam, but in the end, Vietnam shows you something about yourself, and that's the best souvenir you can ask for.